This week's episode is brought to you by ThatKevinSmithClub.com. That's right, man. If you can't get enough of the sound of my voice, then you could surf on over to ThatKevinSmithClub.com. Join up. ThatKevinSmithClub.com. What are you waiting for? Join the club. There it is. Welcome to Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
And I'm Marc Bernardin.
Hey! We are live from Smodcastle Cinemas in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, man. Put your hands together so the folks at home know you were real. Now, this room seats 230, and there are 230 people in every seat, I swear. No, we got basically a cantina crowd tonight.
We do. We got like 70 people in here, which is strong.
Which is strong. And to be fair, this morning, or not this morning, yesterday, I hit up Mark and I was like, this is going to be under 100 people, man. Do we kill the show? And he goes, you don't do the fucking show for who don't come. You do it for who's coming and shit like that. Here we are. Mark saved your show, ladies and gentlemen.
I gave you a place to be on a Sunday night. That's not church.
That's true. We're delighted to be here with you folks. If you're here in the room watching, thank you so much for being here. If you're at home streaming and whatnot, this is the movie theater that me and my friends own in New Jersey. This is one of my friends, and we sit next to each other, and we've been talking about pop culture for how long now?
14 years.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Longer than most marriages.
Most Hollywood marriages.
That's true. Tonight is no different. We don't have any ads, right?
No ads.
Well, then there's one fucking ad. Smodcastle Cinemas. Come see a movie here. We just had a great night last night. We had a Guar came and we showed their documentary. This is Guar. Packed house. They come with their own fan base, so we didn't even have to actively sell tickets and shit. Yeah, I always appreciate that. But full house, and we had people who were always here, but we also had fucking a good amount of people that had never been through the doors before. So if you're at home and you're like, I've never been through the doors before, come out and see a movie with us. It's a multiplex, so we just run first run movies, but you might want to wait for a special occasion when we're doing a special function. For example, if you go to SMOD.com right now, I believe you could buy tickets for the October 18th Mallrats screening with me, Jay Muse, and Jason Lee. And we're doing a start-stop screening like we did at the beginning of the year. So we watch a scene, stop it, we all get up, tell fucking stories about it, sit down, start the next scene, stop it, get up, tell stories about it. Takes a 90-minute movie, turns it into a 5-hour affair. October 18th, right here on this very stage. Tickets available right now at csmod.com. There's my ad for the evening. Well done. How have you been, man?
I've been good. It's always a little odd for me to come back to the East Coast because so much of the reasons I used to come to the East Coast are not really here anymore.
Same.
Like I had a lot of family who lived in New Jersey. I now have a handful of family, and they're like sitting right over there. My sister-in-law Lori and her boyfriend Eric.
Hey!
Hey!
The Bernardin bunch.
Indeed. Well, the Savage bunch. They have
bunch of fucking savages in
Hell
this town.
Yeah. But like when I come to Jersey and I would just drive around and see like how much shit is not here anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was driving down 35 today, and this is the local part of the show, so sorry everybody else, but to you 70 people, this is very relevant. I was driving down 35, and the Middletown Pancake House is gone. I was like, what the fuck?
They took it down?
It's still there, but it was like a thanks for letting us serve you for 38 years, and it was a Sunday at 1 o'clock, and there's no cars.
That's fucked up.
I was like, oh.
They retired? Is that what it was? I went there within the last year and a half, man, because they added vegan pancakes to the menu. But it was packed when I went. Like, I had to wait for a table.
It's crazy.
As goes the Middletown Pancake House, so goes New Jersey, kids.
You guys,
that's a shame, man. It's always a bummer when you see the places that you grew up going to close. But oddly enough, in Los Angeles, I have a different routine. There's always places fucking closing and shit. And me and my wife use that as a marriage marker. So we're always like, we outlived that fucking restaurant, man. Shit like that. I was in Miami on Thursday and Friday. I did gigs at the Miami Improv. I'm doing a lot of. They got me on the road for the next like 3 months. Man, I must have bills to pay or some such shit. A lot of comedy club gigs. Going to Buffalo next weekend to the Helium Comedy Club. This time I was at the Improv in Miami. Miami, right on the beach. Jennifer, my wife, never really goes on the road with me and shit like that. But for some reason, Miami really captured her imagination. And she never goes to Florida. She came from Florida, so she fucking hates Florida. And she never wants to go back. Me, whenever I come to the area, when I come do shows here, I spend an inordinate amount of time in my car driving back to Highlands, my hometown, which is one borough over, and driving the entire town and hanging out in front of my childhood home and stalking it, essentially. And the people who own the house are very nice. They're like, we get it. He's middle-aged and shit. So I fuck with my hometown constantly. Like, I use this chances when I come here to do shows to recharge, more or less. Like, that's what it's become, man. So when I'm near New Jersey, anywhere near New Jersey, I'm drawn here. Jennifer's the opposite. We were 1 hour from where she grew up. She grew up in Coral Springs, and we were in Miami. And she's like, I used to drive to Miami from Coral Springs all the time. I was like, how long is that? She's like, it's an hour. I was like, oh my God, let's go to Coral Springs. Let's see where you grew up. She's like, why? She's just not into that shit whatsoever. So she wanted to go though to Miami because she was like, when I was a kid, I used to go to Miami and fuck with Miami, and it gave me hope because where I was real like fucking rural and stupid and shit. There was no culture whatsoever. It was just football on Friday nights, Friday Night Lights. She's going, but like in Miami, we could like go see concerts. We could go see cool movies. We can go to the News Cafe. I was like, what's that? She's like, it's this place that had the newsstand on it where like people would meet and fucking minds came together and you could eat there. It's a cafe and shit. She's like, and I remember going there when I was like 17, 18. So she was like, I want to go to Miami with you. I said, all right. So we get to Miami. My wife is not a sentimental person by any stretch of the imagination. Probably the cold. She's not here. Right? She's probably the coldest fucking individual I've ever met in my life. Like, loves me. Not a Kevin Smith fan by any stretch of the imagination, but loves me personally and doesn't really have much tolerance for everybody else. She thinks our kid's okay. That's about it. Everyone else, she just is cold affair, this woman and shit. And she doesn't get emotional. I'll sit there and fucking watch, Ant-Man and be like, oh, wow, it's fucking beautiful and shit. And she'll be looking at me like, why do I let you stick your fucking dick in me? She doesn't get emotional about nothing. Never see tears rolling or anything like that. Periodically, something about us or something that'll like get her emotional, some memory. But generally speaking, not a sentimental person. So we're in Miami, and she's like, hey, man, I'm going to enter the fucking News Cafe. I want to see if it still exists. And it did still exist. And she's like, can we go there? And I was like, absolutely. And as we got to, I don't know if it's called Ocean Boulevard or whatever the fuck it is, the stretch in Miami, like right on the water. We're driving towards it and shit. And she's like, oh, my God, that's it. Like, I could see it. It's fucking still there. And she broke down into this completely different individual, man, where she started like crying. And she was like, oh my God, it's amazing to see it. You have no idea. This was an oasis for me. Without this place, I don't know that I would have made it out of this state, man. Like, it just gave me something to believe in and knew that there were other people out there, open minds, diverse, different things that I could look for in my life and shit like that. And she was a different woman than I'd been married to, honestly, for the last like 20 plus fucking years, as she was going on so emotionally about like, I can't believe it, there's my youth. And then I fucking looked out the window right next to the place and I was like, holy fuck, is that where they shot Scarface? And fucking dove out of the car and found the hotel where they shot Scarface, where the motherfucker got chainsawed to death and whatnot. When I got back in the car, she was still crying, whatever, but fucking it was astounding, man. Like, it was right there. They made it, and there were people standing around, and I was like, this is like their quick stop. Like, here, when people in New Jersey see them outside taking pictures in front of Quick Stop, and there they were doing it. I was one of them outside the fucking hotel and shit like that. So I saw where they made a movie, Mark. That was my Miami trip and shit. We were on the beach. He wanted to stay on the beach. I'm not a beach person. I grew up on the on the beach and didn't even fuck with it then. Yeah, I saw Jaws when I was a kid. Fuck that. But she apparently didn't see Jaws when she was a kid, because not only did she want to go to the beach, she went and swam in the fucking ocean and shit. I was like, there's fucking sharks and alligators out there and shit. Very brave soul. But here's the thing. I live in a world of, I wear jorts, so I guess I see some leg in my life. But generally speaking, I'm a layers person, and she too is wrapped up like a fucking Middle Eastern woman at all times. Never shows any fucking flesh, just basically here and shit. She's always in pajamas, head to toe and whatnot. This fucking bitch put on a bathing suit, man. And I was like, who the fuck are you? I got so fucking like, hey, man, how are you? I got way reinterested in my wife of 26 years because she changed one thing about her outfit. She just like showed a little leg, and I was like, hi.
She's tapped into the vice of Miami.
Little bit, man, little bit. Fucking, I got a little Crockett for her tubs. But it's crazy, man. People down there walk around with no clothes on. Not naked, but like fucking, like bikinis.
Like you see on the TV?
I guess. I just don't live in that world, man. And I'm not a prude. I don't, fucking recently I was talking about, what was I talking about? Oh, when we talked about Peacemaker. I took a lot of shit online that week where people going, you don't like seeing orgies? What's fucking wrong with you? I'm not a prude. I love nudity as much as the next guy and shit. But it was weird because like you're surrounded by people wearing very little clothing at all fucking times. And from a distance, some of them look fucking naked as shit. It's nuts, man. It was very distracting for me. I had to, like, my wife was like, go get me a coffee. And I was like, hold on.
Have you ever been to a nude beach?
Once when I was like a kid, we saw from a distance when Sandy Hook opened up their first nude beach. We were like, let's fucking go. And then we saw who was there. We were like, let's fucking leave.
I went once.
Did you go to a nude beach?
I went once in
Did
Jamaica.
you go dick out?
I did not. It was clothing optional. It wasn't like, they weren't taking clothes at the door. Like, you can't fucking go. Just drop trowel. Like, but I'm shy.
You want to get on this beach? Take your fucking pants off.
Cough. But I was in Jamaica, like, and my wife and I, we went. It was like some.
Did she take her clothes off?
She did not. We were both like, cool, that's dope. We'll sit here. There's a splash bar. We're good. And there was everybody else on that beach was like in their 60s and 70s. Dick out.
Yeah.
Like,
That's who likes to be naked. Old people that you don't want to see.
Invariably.
Yeah.
Except there were
Which, honestly, that's us now.
pretty much. But there were these four black women who, like, they're 20-somethings who clearly went to give people heart attacks. Because they
were naked?
Yeah.
And you could see everything.
Everything. And I'm just watching, like, these old, like, dudes just kind of, the coronary was passing down the road.
Because all the blood was rushing someplace else.
It's like, oh, Gretchen, did you see that? I don't know what that is.
Four dudes just watch boop, boop, boop.
I've never seen so much ass.
Yeah, I've never been to a cool nude beach like that. And I would never partake in a fucking cool or uncool nude beach, man. I'm a layers guy. As much as I was like ragging her about like, you wear too much clothes. She was like, look at you, man. And I was wearing fucking long johns under my jorts. So she
The
got
Miami uniform.
yes. But it was good. A good couple of shows there and shit like that. Nice to interact with Florida in a way I normally don't. Normally when I go to Florida, it's to see my mom or something like that. Meanwhile, my mom was going through a medical procedure this weekend, and mercifully came through with flying colors and whatnot. So that's the version of Florida that I'm used to, flying into Orlando, driving to my mom's, fucking with Disney maybe from time to time. But Miami is the land of naked people and shit.
Mountains of cocaine.
I didn't see any of that, but I saw a lot of fucking strings up asses. Not just ladies, like guys too. Like just a lot of ass on display, man. Like, when did that happen?
You gotta floss. That's what they all say.
I guess so, man. Straight up.
I was helping my mom. I was in New York before, and I came down here today. But like, my mom's in her early 80s, and she has accrued all of the shit that one accrues after 80 years of just being around. And so it was like a kind of purging, organizing couple of days for her. And I discovered that my mom is very sentimental with no regard for what. So like, I'd find this stack of magazines.
They call that a hoarder.
A little bit. And I'm like, here's a stack of magazines. What's in this stack? Mom's like, all right, well, here's a Good Housekeeping from 2002. Here's the 25th anniversary of Essence magazine. Here's Life, like fucking Barbara Bush and her puppies. Here's the Ebony magazine with like the funeral issue for Martin Luther King. Like, there's history in there. And then other shit that's saved with the same reverence, which is none. It's like she kept it but didn't preserve any of it. It's like, what's this? Oh, I wrote the cover story for that. Oh, that's great. What's this? Did you write anything? No, that's just a fucking Vogue magazine from 1972 about bell bottoms are in. Didn't fucking care. But I also discovered that this is the same woman who when she was like in her mid-20s, she and her girlfriends were like, well, we're going to go to Washington, D.C. We're going to take the train down and we're going to go and we're young. We're going to see if we can find some boys. And like Martin Luther King has given a speech, but he always fucking gives speeches. We've heard like a dozen Martin Luther King speeches. Let's just, fuck it. Let's not go to this one. Let's go over here to like the bar where all of the cute nurses are hanging out. I have a dream. It's happening over here. My mom's like, we've heard it before. What's he going to say that's new?
Right.
There was also...
That's just Martin being Martin.
You know, Martin.
What up, y'all?
And then this time she was like, because she saw Questlove had made a documentary last year called Summer of Soul.
Yeah.
Which is all about a series of concerts in Harlem where it's like James Brown and Sly and the Family Stone and Stevie Wonder were all playing over the course of one summer. He's like, I probably went to some. I don't know. They just kept going on. So, like, we probably rolled through and then rolled out before anything cool happened. It's like, Mom, I love that you were at the doorstep of history and never opened the door. just peeked in a little bit. Nah, I'm good.
They had no idea that they were living through fucking history and stuff.
Unprecedented times. And just like,
They say we are doing the same thing right now.
Indeed, and I'm just watching Peacemaker instead of engaging with history.
That'll help.
100%.
Shall we dive into
we can do a show.
Or shall we review things? Or are there things to review? I'm trying to think what I watched this week. I didn't watch the new Peacemaker. Did you?
I did.
So we could talk about that.
We can talk about that. You know what I watched also, like with Mom? I let Mom pick all the movies we watched. Mm-hmm. And by all, I mean two. She's 50-50. She picked The Thursday Murder Club. Do you guys know what this is?
Based on a book. I remember when Jennifer, my wife's a big reader, and when she was reading that book, which was like when we were making Logic's movie, when we were shooting Paradise Records, she was like, here's the next movie or miniseries. I was like, what is it? And she explained it. She goes, there's no way this doesn't happen. And sure enough, it's that. So it's a older British folks. It's like the British Avengers for old British actors.
Yes, who solve the coziest crimes.
Yes.
Because they're all in
Helen Mirren,
Pierce Brosnan, Ben Kingsley, Celia Imrie, and then in the cast is David Tennant and Jonathan Pryce and a couple other people.
Unknowns and amateurs.
And then like Lucifer is in it, Tom Ellis. And it's just like 4 retirees at the most gorgeous like nursing home facility in the world. They just solve cold cases in their off time. And like Helen Mirren plays, they're very careful to skirt that I was in the special service. She was an MI6 agent and is now retired. And Pierce Brosnan played like an Irish union organizer. Ben Kingsley is a certified bachelor. Which is what they call
helpful to solve crime.
Indeed, always. And another woman was like a trauma nurse. And so like they are the fucking Avengers of solving like quaint crimes. It's the most adorable little movie. Like it's Agatha Christie. It's crime with tea. And like it's amazing what happens when you cast nothing but Oscar winners.
May I suggest a second draft?
Please go ahead.
Crime and Crumpets. Thank you.
Well done. You should be in a writer's room. But yeah, so that was a ton of fun. Very light lifting. Like you could probably sleep through half of it and still understand what's going on.
She said, as a fan of the book, she was like, they did a great job. She's going, but they left a lot behind. I was like, should it have been a series? And she's like, well, it'll be a series of movies because it's a series of books. She's like, so it looks like they're electing to do one movie per book as opposed to like, hey, let's do a whole season of this.
And they're going to have to treat this like you treat movies with young kids. Because like we gotta hurry up before they get
reverse,
old.
Yeah.
Reverse is like if we're gonna make a dozen of these, we gotta go.
That's true. That's what they're doing with that current like Max Harry Potter series, right? Like, aren't they shooting everything? Like when they announced that they were doing it, they're like, look, these kids age fucking fast, so we're not taking hiatuses. We're gonna do seasons 1, 2, and 3 like back to back to back.
This is these kids' jobs now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't remember school? You're not going there anymore.
That's true.
You're
They're
going to
surrendering a
Hogwarts.
fucking childhood. I got some. I'm gonna look it up, man. But I watched a thing that I fucking adored. I want to see if it was on Netflix, man, because they'll tell you like what you did recently and shit. This was kind of like, you know, that show I love and everybody loves, or at least you and me, the Food That Built America.
Yes.
So I'm on it. Yeah. Well, I talked about we talked about here on Fat Man Beyond, not here, but on Fat Man Beyond. Show that I love, and it's on History Channel. It's called The Food That Built America. Adam, our good friend Adam.
Yeah. Like, we sucked its dick for like an hour and a half, one episode.
Yeah. Like, it fell down the hole where we're just like, this is the greatest fucking thing that ever happened.
Like, yeah. We could be talking about Daredevil, but what about Food That Made America? And then Adam Richman saw it and was like, I'm going to come on and talk to you guys about it. That was a 4-hour episode.
Yes. Which is one of the longest episodes we ever did of the show.
Talked to Adam for like 2.5 hours. And then, based on that, you get on it. Because
I wound up
he seems to like this stuff.
They have many spin-offs. It's called That Built. They got a That Built universe. So it started with the Food That Built America. Then they've got the Titans That Built America. The Toys That Built America, I think, or something like that. And what was the one?
The brands that built
America. The mega brands that built America. So they were like, do you want to go speak for the mega brands? Like, and they told me the episodes they had left because they'd shot most of the season, but they were like, we got 4 episodes we could squeeze you in. I said, fucking sure. So I was, watching them with Jen, but I didn't tell. She knew that I'd shot them, but forgot. So I was like, what do you want to watch? And she was like, I don't know, what do we got? And I was like, we can watch, there's a new That Built. And she's like, what is it? I was like, Mega Brand. She's like, all right, yeah, let's put that in. What's it about? And I was like, it's about Polaroid. And she's like, okay. Turn it on and shit. And, Campbell Scott's the narrator, and he's like, his name was Polaroid, and he's fucking, he's setting up the episode to come, and they're dipping in with who the guests are, saying a thing. And, she's watching, and then all of a sudden, the guy she fucks for a living shows up on screen, and I'm like, oh, Polaroid? Hey, man. And she was like, what the fuck? Like, the whole show, man. She was just like, are you in it more? I was like, I don't know. I'm watching it for the first time with you. And every time I popped up, she was delighted. So my friend, turned out, it wasn't even Adam that got me in. The people that produce the show are the same people that used to produce Comic Book Men back in the day. My friend Christian Palladino. So Christian was like, bro, everyone in the office, like, fucking listen to that episode. You guys talking about that bill? He's like, you want to be in it? I said, fuck yes. So I was in Mega Brands That Built America. Next time I come out here, I'm going to do the Food That Built America.
Ooh, the mothership.
Yes. Can't wait. So that's all a long way of saying, if you've not fucked with That Built series on history, it's so worth your time. I found something that wasn't That Built, and I cannot fucking remember where I watched it. I'm looking to see if it was on Netflix, where it's like,
I will note with interest that they didn't call me asking. It's like, hey, do you fuck with built things? I was like, yo, let's do the Kool-Aid That Built America. let's do the Italian, let's sugar-based things. The Italian ice that built America.
And they
frozen
just
waffle.
His name was Mr. Aid. I can't fucking find it on my Netflix, and I'm gonna not do it justice, but essentially it is if I could give it a title, the movie People That Built America. I think it's on Netflix. Not Movies That Made Us, but it's about the titans of Hollywood, essentially. And it's about Carl Laemmle, who creates Universal, the Warner Brothers, who create, I forget the name of their studio.
The Mayor Boys.
Not Jack, what's his name? Fox, who created 20th Century Fox.
Hiram. Louis B. Mayer.
Louis B. Mayer from MGM. And it's done exactly like the That Built series. That Built has people talking and saying things, but then it also has reenactment footage made of actors who aren't SAG actors, but they're fucking wonderful because they really pop them in. It's like watching community theater actors like get TV roles and shit. And so you can really sink into the show because you're not like, I saw this guy on Law and Order once and shit. You're just like, for all I know, that is Walt Disney, So they got this guy playing Carl Laemmle, and Carl Laemmle's story fucking fascinated me. Laemmle, I interact with the name Laemmle in my life when Clerks happens, because out in Los Angeles, the movie theater called the Laemmle Sunset 5, which was an independent movie theater that existed in this multiplex out there, where Clerks played for 1 year straight. When it opened, it had its run for about 4 months in regular shows, like daily shows. Then it moved to Friday and Saturday nights and continued playing for like 1 year. Great movie theater that I always fucked with from the moment I got out into Los Angeles. But that's the only familiarity I had with the name. And then, of course, when I went to work for Universal making Mallrats, Laemmle is a name you hear around there because he's the guy who started Universal. It wasn't a man named Mr. Universal. It was a guy named Carl Laemmle who was like, we need a fucking name. This Carl Laemmle fucking story blew my doors off. Like, somebody should make a movie about this fucker, man. Or why bother? Because they did this series and it was fucking wonderful. This guy Laemmle, he's like in the clothing business, works for some other fucker, right? He comes up with an idea where he's like, what if we put together, because this is like turn of the century shit. So just to place you in time, 18 poor, whatever, fucking. So he puts together this fucking catalog showing the shirts and the fucking jeans that this guy sells. And he's like, we can do mail order. And so business has increased by 500%. And the owner's like, that's very good. And then Laemmle's like, but my salary hasn't increased at all. And then the boss goes, well, if I give you a raise during good times, then what happens during bad? That was his rationale for not giving this fucker a raise and shit. And he said to him, would you agree? Would you agree? And Carl Laemmle got so frustrated, he hauled off and punched the fucker in the face. And so he was out of the clothing business. So he's walking around, he left the building, and he's fucking somber and slumped as he walks down the street. And there is a primitive movie theater. There's a storefront that the guy who owned the storefront had decided to set up a projector, again, turn of the century and shit like that, set up some chairs, and has a screen, a sheet, and would, for one bit, for a penny, you throw a penny in a dish, he sits there and rolls the movie. So it's a room, got 12 people in it, mostly adults between things, people who have nothing to do, standing around on city streets and shit. But Laemmle stays, keeps paying, keeps watching the movies, falls in love with the movies. Again, this is a brand new, fairly new technology at this point. It hadn't been around for a minute, but nobody was making feature lengths. They would do short subjects, or not even short subject scenes, like the kiss, motherfuckers kiss, and that'd be the movie and shit like that. And they were made by Edison, because Edison, is credited with creating the motion picture camera, although Pathé was working on one at the same time in France, and the people in Monograph were also working on one in England at the same time. But Edison was a litigious patent holder. So he would defend his patents. He would make sure I'm the first. And there are stories throughout history of, whether or not Edison truly created things on his own or whatnot, but he was definitely the first to patent it. So he had an abiding interest in motion pictures, but he created the technology, and then, like Edison, moved on to other things. And other people who had motion picture cameras were making short subjects, but nobody was commercializing it yet. So this guy with a movie theater, he's showing the thing. Laemmle's inspired by this. And he goes, it'd be better, who would love this? Fucking kids. This would really capture a kid's imagination. So he saves up enough money to get his own storefront, puts better chairs out, cleaner fucking venue and shit, and starts showing movies for like a penny a piece and whatnot. And he's doing, like, by the end of they said $100 a day. So a penny a piece, $100 a day. What the fuck? And he went up to Nickelodeon and shit. Nickel, $100 a day. Do the math. That's fucking crazy. And he's doing big turnover and shit. Problem is, there's not enough material. Like, he's got this one movie, and then after 3 weeks, everybody's fucking seeing it and shit.
Just like seeing the train pulling into the station.
Pretty much, man. And they're like, wow, but what else you got? So my man starts going out and buying movies from people for like $200, man. And again, not a feature-length movie, just like a movie that he owns that nobody's seen before, that was shot on an Edison camera or something like that. So he'll show that, and after about 2-3 weeks, everyone's seen it, and they're like, what else you got? He's like, now I'm stuck with this movie print. What do I do? So he decided to rent the print out to other movie theaters for $25 a day. So then he creates a film co-op where he's renting films to other theaters that he's bought himself. He used them, and now he's putting them out there. This builds an entire business, an industry, a mini industry. the people in charge of big cinema, Edison, he gathers the people he's been suing for years, the head of Pathé, the head of Monograph, gathers them together, said we should stop fighting each other and we have to fight these fuckers because they're monetizing our art form. We created movies. They should not, if they're showing them, they should be licensing them and we should be making money for this. So they created a cartel. And that cartel would go up and bust up movie theaters. So that guy fucking has a movie theater, Carl Laemmle. These fuckers show up with bats. They're like, you got a license? And he's like, for what? Bam! They break the camera and break his fucking jaw and shit. Like real mob shit. So my man goes, I can't get my hands on movies. He don't want to quit, this Laemmle. He's made of tougher stuff, man. So he's like, I don't give a shit, man. Fucking there's good money in this business. Ain't no reason I shouldn't be able to do this and whatnot. So, instead, I'm going to make movies. He goes, let's get a camera. Like, we know what these things are like. Like, we can shoot these scenarios ourselves. So they get a camera and they underground start making fucking motion pictures. And the original name of the company of Universal was IMP, Independent Motion Pictures. And their whole marketing campaign was like, have you seen an imp today? C2 and shit like that. And you could see 9 imps if they had them because each movie was less than a minute fucking long and shit. But they were making so much money doing that, and then the cartel came in and busted that fucking wide open. They're like, you can't fucking make movies with that. We own this equipment and shit like that. So those guys are like, fuck these cartels. We want to keep making these movies because we know we can make money off them. We created this business. So let's go to fucking Cuba and start shooting movies. So they go to Cuba because the cartel can't reach there. And then other people, like the Warners, they came from St. Louis, like, we're going to St. Louis to make some movies. And then a bunch of motherfuckers were like, oh, Paramount, the guy who created Paramount. He's like, I'm going out to California because they get good weather all the time and you could probably shoot longer and shit like that. So the movie gravitates out west, not for what I always assumed was better weather. That's what I had always learned. It was to escape the fucking cartels. It was to escape Thomas Edison. Isn't that fucking nuts? Like, Thomas Edison would send Pinkerton fucking agents after people to get our fucking money and shit. This went on until those guys left and went out of their reach and stuff and started making so many fucking movies, including taking the format beyond the scenario of like me sitting down going, hello, credits and shit. And there were no credits. Into like, let's tell a story. Let's adapt a play. They did that for the first time. So you got to see how the movie business grew and who were the fundamental movers and shakers behind it. More importantly, who tried to fucking stop it. And why it got bigger because of that. Somebody getting in the way and people like, you can't fucking stop this, man. You may have created the technology that's going to make this possible, but we're the people that are going to define it, man. And we're going to define how it's going to be useful. We're going to create a mini industry, which became a major industry. But it all came from independence. Like Universal, which you would no one would argue is fucking a corporate-ass corporation. Like when you think of the studio, you're thinking of fucking Universal. But Universal began its life on the edges, trying to duck Edison, trying to fucking like make their own movies going, we can do this shit. We don't need his permission. As indie filmmakers, I fucking love this thing. Not enough to learn the name of it, but
I know. Like at this point, you just need to narrate the rest of it since you can't tell us where to watch it.
I could do each one. The Warner Brothers, what is it called?
Titans, The Rise of Hollywood.
Thank you. Where is it?
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. It's called Titans, The Rise of Hollywood. I learned so fucking much about a business that I've literally not only been fascinated with and a fan of forever, but made my fucking living off of. Like I learned every day as a school day, and I was like, I had no fucking idea. But this guy Laemmle's my new fucking hero, man. He was indie film before there was indie film, and all because like he fucking punched his boss in the face. Like,
violence.
Yeah, but it's not. Well, yes, in that instance, it is violent. But it's more than that. It's just like this dude brought something to the table. And rather than be recognized by his boss financially and shit like that, he's like, fuck you. It ain't going to be shirts, but I know I could do something else, man. All these motherfuckers were hustlers. Like they were all like immigrants. Mm-hmm. And they were all like, hey, man, how do I make money in the new world? And what was brilliant about it is you could. It was the Wild Wild West. You could do whatever you wanted in America. That's the other reason I enjoy watching it now, because it reminds you who the fuck we are. Why that shit's important. You don't get to fucking the cinema we enjoy today unless a bunch of immigrants move over from some other fucking country and figure out how to create the fucking movie business. And what is being lost by chasing people out of the country now? What cures for diseases? What art forms are being fucking neutered by the fact that a bunch of people are like, get out, get out, get out. I'm telling you, man, I got a lot more out of this Titans thing than they fucking intended. And my new hero, I'm changing my name to Carl Laemmle.
I mean, A, you probably can't because that dude's name is copyrighted everywhere. And B,
Probably.
you'd waste like 52 years of branding.
Good point.
You've done all right building a Kevin Smith business.
That's true. Maybe I should just act more like Carl Laemmle as Kevin Smith.
Try not to punch as many people, but
That's what I think I'm missing. Others, I've made movies and I was independent, but I never rocked somebody in the mush. And that dude built a goddamn fucking an empire, for God's sake.
the second half, chin music all day long.
Really should be the balls that made America, because it takes a lot of nuts to be like, I'm going to punch this guy in the fucking face.
You're from the streets, that's right.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
I'm from the suburban streets. I've seen the streets that I come from. They're so soft. Those are the streets I had to be home from at 5 o'clock when the whistle blew. It's like, I'm from the streets. Brrr, I got to go. My parents are. Did you have a siren in your town growing up? In Highlands, we had the 5 o'clock whistle.
No. I mean, in the Bronx, there was just,
Ambulances.
gunshots or fireworks.
5 o'clock gunshots. Must be 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Or it's like, are we turning this hydrant off? Because it's it's a nighttime hydrant. All right, cool.
Nighttime hydrant. They, in Highlands, they got this big, I don't think it exists anymore, but they had a big air raid siren. Because Highlands, like, I didn't know it growing up, but featured prominently in World War II. They built a giant-ass fucking base out there that could shoot fucking rockets from, not rockets, what do they call them? Not missiles either, but artillery. There, that sounds better and shit. At New York Harbor, in case the Nazis came to New York. If the Nazis are like, fuck it, and they came for New York, Highlands, bitch. My hometown was going to be, fuck you, Frank, and blow him, Franz, and blow him out of the fucking air. He had a Frenchman by mistake. Then he went to Franz. So I guess because of that, growing up here, like I didn't know much about that stuff. Like they kept it hidden. Now it's open. You can go hiking in there and shit. But wait, why was I bringing up World War II?
Air raid sirens.
So maybe that's why we have an air raid siren in our town.
Yeah.
And why would they do it at 5 o'clock? Was that a holdover from some other time?
I don't know. Maybe it's just quitting time. It's Flintstones.
I mean, that's literally what it was, man. It was just like,
Everybody go home.
But we didn't have a factory in our town. It wasn't like, well, they need that whistle because everyone works at the factory and shit like that.
Was there a volunteer, like civil service? Like,
Yes, 100%.
that might be why. Down in Delaware, they have that a lot for ambulances, fire, etc.
All right, so there you go. Every day's a
Volunteer
school
civil
day.
service.
We're fucking learning some shit here. Our town was volunteer based, so we had a volunteer fire department. I think the police department was paid, but ambulance was volunteer as well. So you're saying in a lot of volunteer towns that siren is a feature.
They've got all over Bridgewater where I work at 6 o'clock, it would just go off.
It just like
Center Fire Company would just blow us giant, you could hear it forever.
maybe just as a test of like every day we test the siren just in case or whatever the fuck. But it governed my life as a child. Like it was like you have to be home by the time that fucking siren ends. If I wasn't in the house by the time the siren ended at fucking 5 o'clock and 30 seconds, then I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, we just had the streetlights. It was come home when the streetlights turn on. And if you're not home when the streetlights turn on, you don't go out tomorrow to pretend to be out till the streetlights turn on.
Fair enough rule.
But yeah, like our parents didn't care so much. Just like environmental cues was as much parenting as they had. And like, yeah, because they had no phones, so we couldn't call. There was
couldn't
no
get in touch with us. They
No.
couldn't hit us at a moment's notice and shit.
They
They're
didn't
like, we
care
got to
if-
wait until the whistle blows.
didn't care if we ate. You know, didn't care if like where are you going? I don't know.
We had the public service announcement of it's 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Do you know where your children are?
PSA. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Was no.
Yeah. It's like, did we have kids?
That's how neglectful parents were of kids back then, that they had to make a commercial to be like, hey, you have fucking any idea where the thing that came out of you is right now? All right, let's dive
times.
into the now as opposed to then. So we both watched the thing.
We both watched the thing. Oh yeah, the other movie my mom decided we should watch was Back in Action, starring Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz.
That was the movie where he had the accident,
Yes.
where we almost lost Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, when he had his stroke.
I
Whatever
don't
it
know that
is.
he's ever come out and said it, but he had a near-death experience while making a movie with Cameron Diaz because everyone tried to blame her for a minute. Because they were like, she hasn't acted in a while, and suddenly he's sick. You know.
It's not good. Don't watch it.
Serious?
Yeah, it's bad.
You got to imagine, like, could you imagine if that was his last work?
It's giving like Street Fighter. Like Raul Julia's last work is Street Fighter.
Street Fighter's a good movie, though.
He's good in
that right there, man. That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy. Street Fighter is a good movie.
it. It is not. He's very good in it. You know, but it's not the last thing you want on your resume if you're Raul Julia. Like, and Street Fighter.
That could have been the reason that Jamie fought so hard. He's like, I got to live. I got to make
Come on,
another
man.
movie.
Come on, Ray 2. Let's go.
This saved me. I was having the heart attack and I was on the table and they're like, you could die tonight. And I was like, you know what? I'm okay with that. And I was like, wait, if I die now, Yoga Hosers is the last movie I ever made. And that's why I'm here, man. That brought me back from the grave.
Bring him back. So yeah, don't watch that. But it's also another movie that like Glenn Close.
Where can I avoid that?
Netflix.
Okay.
But Glenn Close is in it. Like Andrew Scott is in it. Like there's like good actors who
Getting paid. Good for
clearly,
them.
yes, like had a house that had a payment, or a kid going to college or some shit like that. It's not good.
Andrew Scott, is he the British guy?
He is the British
Who
guy.
played Ripley?
Uh-huh.
You see him in the trailer for the new Richard Linklater movie?
No.
So there's a new Richard Linklater movie, and it's about
It's Nouvelle Vague.
it's about people that made musicals. George Gershwin, maybe, or Lerner and Loeb. I don't know, but it's like
people who made musicals.
there were two fuckers that made musicals together, and then one of the fuckers made a musical with somebody else, and that musical was the biggest thing that ever happened. Way bigger than the shit they did together. That's just the basis for it. Somebody look up the name of this fucking thing. What is
Nouvelle
it?
Vague.
Nouvelle Vague?
It's Richard Linklater's new movie, though.
Well, that's not the one I'm talking about. Because there must be another one. Because I know he did a new wave flick. And maybe I'm wrong. Richard Linklater didn't direct it. That's it. Merrily We Roll Along. And it's got Ethan Hawke in it, right?
Oh yeah, that's when he's filming in real time again.
I'm not sure, but this is what threw me about it. When you see the trailer, I guess Ethan Hawke is playing a historical...
Wait, no, Blue Moon.
Blue Moon, that's it. Thank you. Who's he playing? Ethan Hawke.
Lorenz Hart.
Lawrence Hart. So what was the musical team? Something in Hart.
Moss and Hart.
And then
Wait, no, Moss Hart. Sorry.
he's the guy who winds up not being in the big musical, but he wrote some shit with him. Anyway, point being, Ethan Hawke is playing a real person. And apparently that real person was real short in real life. And in the trailer, Ethan Hawke is doing a Dorf on
He's
golf.
Dorfing it?
Yeah, he's like literally on his knees walking around doing the... He's doing the tiptoes almost,
God
man.
bless.
And it's really fucking unnerving when you watch the trailer because you're like, he's literally doing the little kid thing at a... What is it? It's in the thumbnail of how little he is, like doing this shit. I saw that trailer and I was like, oh, fuck.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's not part of our news, though.
No, not at all.
No. The first news item.
Yeah.
We're doing the news now.
Here we go, kids. News. Marc
News.
Bernardin used to be a newsman. He went out and found some news for you.
I did. There's a Star Wars movie coming from Sean Levy, starring Ryan Gosling, called Star Wars Starfighter.
Is Sean Levy directing this picture?
He is indeed. It just
This will
started.
be his first movie since Deadpool Wolverine?
It will indeed.
Okay.
It just started production. They've unveiled some new members of the cast. Aaron Pierre from Rebel Ridge and now the new Lanterns TV show. Matt Smith and Mia Goth are playing villains, and Amy Adams is now going to be in a Star Wars movie. They revealed a little bit of plot detail, basically that it's a standalone movie, takes place 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker. It allegedly has nothing to do with Skywalkers at all. Yeah.
I don't know. Believe me, I'm not like invested either one way or another, but I don't mind when things are connected to the saga. In fact, I heard Simon Kinberg is doing episode 10. Did you hear that?
I did.
He's doing 3 movies that he's producing, I guess, writing. I don't know if he's directing, but they're starting with episode 10, which there was never any mention of an episode 10. I know we're not sticking any sort of fucking canon anymore. It's Disney's toys. They can do what they want, but there was always a vision of 9. And then he backed off after 3. He's like, I'm done. Then he came back, did another 3, and everyone hurt his feelings. He's like, fuck you.
I'm selling it.
And he took his ball and he sold it to Disney and shit. So I ain't raising some sort of flag and being like, no, but there was no plan ever in the history of Star Wars for a 10. No. So now we're in interesting breaking new ground because we're going someplace new, but in order to tell the story of episode 10, you have to continue the story of episodes 1 through 9. Mm-hmm. So essentially, we are back in Skywalker country.
Yes.
Which to an old timer like me, I'm totally fine with.
If those movies ever get
before
made.
we go further, I heard in this room some dissension. People that want to move away from the Skywalker saga. Can I just hear why? And you don't have to defend it, but I'm just curious. JJ ruined it?
Oh, damn.
No, I didn't say that. He did. I know. Sorry, JJ. No. That's your feeling is because the Skywalker saga is now broken, done.
Somehow the Skywalker saga continues.
Yeah.
Even without Skywalker himself, who is very clear about like I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, it's contingent on people being shitty parents. Like how you got Ben Solomon, like, it's like, is Rey gonna have a kid that turns to the dark side and it just repeats over and over again? Then Force Ghost Mark Hamill's like, what did I tell? Like, you
like
saw how
poetry,
bad we
it
messed up
rhymes.
with this one. We saw how messed up, like, my dad was because he was a child slave. Like, it's all just contingent. Like, you have to find a way to do it where people aren't, like, where it's not a just dysfunctional family. It wasn't good conflict.
That is look. I've built part of my career on deconstructing Star Wars, but I haven't heard it put through the millennial prism before, where it's just like, well, basically Darth Vader was an abused child, and he passed that on to his own child, and his
Shitty
child broke
parenting.
the cycle. Yeah, you're right. It's a saga that's predicated on shitty parenting. So in order for that particular story to keep going, yes, it would have to be like Rey would have to be some sort of shitty parents, and she is kind of Luke's only connection offspring, and she's all we have left, right? In terms of,
I mean,
you got
Palpatine-
droids and you got a Wookiee.
Palpatine was the shittiest parent. Clearly.
Yeah.
Somehow he's the shittiest parent.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I vote for moving away from the Skywalker saga only because it does lock you into an incredibly small window on a universe. It is just about these people.
I know, but like, and again, I ain't fighting. Like, give me as many different flavors of Star Wars you want. I ain't watching.
I mean, I don't
anymore.
know. You're Mr. Carl Laemmle here. You seem to want to fight.
I know. Fucking, let me tell you what Laemmle would do. He'd punch this fucker in the face. When you got your religion, right? You don't get very far in the Catholic faith or any of the Christian faiths from the Jesus story. Like, nobody out there going like, I'm done with the Jesus story, man. Like, what's next? Do you have another savior? Like, at the end of the day, this story is predicated on these characters. And I know Star Wars is a big heading that covers a lot of ground for a lot of people, but for the core audience, and most of us who are dying out, and this is not me defending the old against the new, but for a lot of people, Star Wars is fucking Skywalker and stuff. Mm-hmm. And anything that's not part of that saga is just, why not make it a space movie? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know Favreau and co found a way to do a mixtape of sorts with The Mandalorian, where it's like, hey, it's old and it's new at the same time. But I'm again, they can make it, and I'm sure I will either fuck with it or I won't, but like, I am more interested in something that ties to the Star Wars that I have spent a majority of my life with versus somebody being like, hey, they got this cool new thing that has elements of Star Wars in it, but has no relation to anything you enjoyed before, and I find it harder for me to get excited about that shit.
They need to start making Guild Republic.
Now, they need to start making Guild Republic. What is Guild Republic?
The Old Republic.
Oh, they start making Old Republic movies and shit?
To take all the stories from those video games and novels and make them into movies and shows.
So the video games and the novels, the extended universe stuff that when Disney came in, they were kind of like, not that shit. So there is another bite at the apple out there, and they could get a bunch of people who loved extended universe who had to let that go since Disney's taken over. I mean, they do it a little bit in Ahsoka, right? They've got, well, in Ahsoka, they had, what's the name, Thrawn?
Yeah, Thrawn.
And he's Thrawn, and he's from Extended Universe and stuff. So it looks like they're starting to bring elements of that into play. But you're right. Like, what about the Old Republic? What about the fucking Knights of Sith and shit like that?
But it does seem, it seems to me that Star Wars' solution.
What's that boring ass story that he tells? Like, where he's like, this motherfucker was the most evil guy in the world. And it seduced Anakin for some reason. Plagueis. Why don't they make that fucking movie?
Yeah.
He was in the Acolyte for 2 seconds at the end. He was like this, and then they were like, see you next season. Not.
Star Wars' solution to this seems to be looking backwards instead of looking forwards, because looking backwards lets you, like, remember all this stuff that's going to happen that's going to be cool? Here's what happened first. I'm almost never interested in the flashback story. I'm almost always more interested in the what's next.
What about Godfather 2? That was all flashback story.
Except for the stuff that isn't a flashback story, which is all the Michael stuff.
Which did you like more, the flashback story or the Michael stuff?
I like the Michael stuff.
Fuck you.
Everybody likes the Michael stuff. Everybody wants, like, Frankie Five Angels.
Did
and
you
like
say the court scene?
Yeah.
So this is a sidebar, but in Logic's movie Paradise Records, this is an editing story. So there are two actors who play like mobsters in the movie. They pop in for like 2 scenes. Spoilers, but it's in the trailer, and I think it's in the cast. And the actors are David Krumholtz, who is fucking fantastic in the movie, and the boy who is in, he's a man now. I think his name is Kevin as well. No, is it
Turtle?
No, it ain't him. But it's the dude who was in The Departure as his cousin, who was like, we shouldn't be doing business as close to the Worcester.
The Departed.
The Departed.
Another departure.
I'm sorry, did I say The Departure?
You did.
The Departed. But he was in 90s indie movies and stuff. Fuck.
Kevin Corrigan.
Thank you, Kevin Corrigan. Kevin Corrigan and David Krumholtz ad-lib a conversation coming in. I guess Logic told him, he was like, hey man, just talk about like The Godfather. You're too fucking mafioso. Talk about The Godfather. And the conversation they essentially have is Krumholtz's character doesn't like The Godfather. He's like, I don't find it authentic. I don't think it's believable or anything like. And fucking Kevin's defending it, but instead of doing like any of the, if I were to say, do The Godfather, what was the first line you would do?
Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Go into the mattresses.
Great, or I would have accepted. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Sure.
He's like, what are you talking about? He's going, that movie's so authentic. This committee this committee owes me an apology. The most obscure fucking line in The Godfather. Oh my God, it made me laugh so hard, bro. I'm like, that's the line you picked up on? And he does it twice because David Crumb goes, I heard you. He goes, this committee owes me an apology. Anyway, back to where we were.
All of which is to say, I am more interested in a Star Wars that finds me new story as opposed to continues to dance between the raindrops of old story.
I'm the other guy.
I know. And as much as I say that, Andor is my favorite Star Wars in the last 30 years. It is a slice of it that has nothing to do with the Skywalkers at all. It barely.
But it's adjacent because there's a Death Star and it's happening during Star Wars.
It's the here's what's happening over here where they're doing space magic.
I'll take that. That I'm down with because it's like, all right, it's happening in a timeline that matters to me. While it supports the main story that I've been following my whole life. So I'm cool with that. Even if there's no Skywalker involved, it happens in a world where Luke Skywalker is existing.
But I also know Star Wars fans who don't like Andor because it's not space wizards, because there's no lightsabers, because it doesn't have any of the things that for them signify Star Wars. It's it's just espionage and it's just business and a guy who's a gallerist and what
this shit's Michael Clayton in space.
Right, which I dig, but and I remember when I was working when I did the Star Wars comics that I worked on. I did Darth Vader book and I did a Mace Windu book. And Lucasfilm.
Hold on, did you just try to applaud for that?
He gave it his best.
Your instinct was correct.
But they have Luke Skywalker's life accounted for to the minute. basically. Like they've told so many fucking stories.
In a Bible.
In a Bible somewhere, because there have been stories that are now canonical where here's Luke when he was fucking born to here's Luke when he dies. And there's almost no story left. It's all been fucking tilled, that road. And it's like, what else are you going to do to, like, now it's okay, so it's fucking Ben Solo and it's all of this shit. And they don't seem to be that interested in rehashing much of the third trilogy. But it's like,
Well, if Simon Kinberg's doing episode 10, they're going to have to, right?
I mean, I think he's like jumping over the Kylo Ren of it all. Like it's a Rey story, most likely. But like Rey when? Like Rey 10 years from the last time we saw her, 20 years from the last time we saw her. Who the fuck knows? I'm more interested in what happens next as opposed to a little bit in between what happened before.
Didn't she not want to come back too?
She didn't for a while, but I think there's a take that she kind of got excited by and was like, all right, I'll come back. How much will you pay me?
Yeah, really, man.
Like
They use the Force, and the Force is a big fat wallet.
Hey, Mark, they're sort of doing that with all the cartoon series. Bad Batch, Rebels. They're great independent stories. Why don't they do that with the movies? They can make several movies like Andor, which are the fabric, but there's no Luke, no this and that. Like Andor is a great movie. It's a wonderful movie, and it's the most un-Star Wars-like out of all the movies.
I know. I think they're
The animation was highlighted and shouted out for those at home. Why can't it be done like the killer animation series that they're doing?
Yeah.
Well, they did that with Rogue One.
They did that with what?
Rogue One.
They did that with Rogue One.
Rogue One is adjacent.
Rogue One is a very adjacent Star Wars story, and I would argue fucking one of the best moments in Star Wars history, and it came late in the fucking game and shit. Think about it. Like, I've been fucking with Star Wars for decades, and in the timeline of Star Wars in the popular culture, only within the last 10 minutes of its life, so to speak, did we get to see Darth Vader destroy a fucking room full of people like that. And
3.99999 is Rogue One.
what is it?
It's episode 3.999.
Episode 3.999. True.
They had one on Skeleton Crew, which had nothing to do with Skywalkers. All you had to know it's a new story.
Skeleton Crew. Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. The thing is that it's a new Star Wars story, but it has no Skywalkers. The only thing you need to know is just Jedi.
You just had to be familiar with the concept of Jedi. So it's a thing that takes place in the Star Wars universe, but not during any particular timeline that means anything to an old timer.
I'm not sure if it is in between them.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is a weird beast because, like, the audience at large wants exactly what you want. But
I'm not saying that's the only thing they should do, but that's what I would prefer.
Right.
And
But
sooner or later, they got to let go of me because they got to seize the future, although they just got kicked in the nuts for that, as we've seen recently, where they've reported that they've lost, millennial men?
Yes.
Boys?
Disney has a problem with men.
Yeah, which is weird because that's why they bought fucking Star Wars and Marvel in the first place. Like, I remember years ago, you go into the Disney store and they had princess dolls galore and shit like that. They had the girls down on lock, but they put up action figures of Peter Pan and Captain Hook. And I was like, ain't a single fucking male child on the planet is going to want either of those. And then within the next 3 years, that was when they made the first move, which was Star Wars. And I remember when Disney bought Star Wars, I was like, what a waste of fucking money. Why would you buy a dead franchise? Never thinking that they would be like, oh, it's not dead. Like, we will kill it, but it ain't dead yet. So, they were very smart and they figured out how to monetize that shit. But there was a moment where they didn't know what to do about young males. After Star Wars, that's when they were like, fuck, we're getting good at this. Let's get Marvel. And suddenly their stores, when they had them, they don't have them anymore, they were able to put fucking toys into for boys and shit like that. That was why they bought Star Wars, just so they could sell more fucking toys to boys in the parks, in their stores, the retail outlets that don't exist anymore. So now, after spending, what was it for Star Wars, $3 billion?
$4 billion for Lucasfilm, and then $7 billion from Marvel,
So total of $11 billion.
and then like another $3 billion for Pixar.
Which, well, don't count them because they didn't buy that to get the boys. They
No.
bought that because they're just fucking common sense and shit.
Right. And the
so,
toys.
but the boy work they did was all about like, let's get Marvel, let's get Star Wars, let's get Marvel because we want to get this particular demographic. And in the, what would you say, 10 years of their stewardship of both Star Wars and Marvel, is it more than that at this point? let's say at least a decade, if
Yeah.
not 15 years or something.
Yeah, I think Star Wars is longer by like
It went
like
from
15
them
years.
cornering the market on who they wanted, like we got all the boys, to now they are admitting. This isn't like somebody writing a think piece. I guess they admitted in some corporate report that they have lost the boys, which seems to. It would seem to make everybody online who has hated every fucking Star Wars thing or Marvel thing for the last 5 years not right, but it would reinforce what they've been saying, which is like, I'm gone, and everyone I know is gone, and they're going to keep losing us. Like, it seems like they did lose them, based on what I've read.
Yeah, I mean, and all of that is basically because Star Wars in the movies there hasn't been a movie since Rise of Skywalker, and that's now 10 years ago, almost 8 years ago.
They get away with male heroes too. They've only had the Mandalorian as the only real strong male hero in the past 10 years either.
Yeah, I mean, Andor.
Is a female lead.
I'm sorry.
Even Rogue One, the main hero of Rogue One is a female.
So wait, is the question they haven't had a male lead in a while?
Yeah, they haven't had a good male hero in
Well, wait, hold on. I didn't understand the thesis. Now I do. Let's step back.
Basically, it's underscoring the quote unquote, which is entirely fallacious, but whatever. It's the go woke, go broke. It is the lots of female leads, lots of African American leads, even though you could say that Cassian Andor is a dual lead in Rogue One. There was a solo movie in which Han Solo's the lead. And then the Marvel stuff that has started to taper off has been like Black Widow and Shang-Chi and Brave New World.
Well,
and
Shang-Chi made $1
Thunderbolts.
billion. Anybody that's like fucking, hey man, Shang-Chi fell off. It's like that. Does anyone forget that made $1 billion fucking dollars?
Right. But I'm just collapsing the where did the boys go? Why did they leave?
So going with that, what if they delve into the novelization history, like with the lost years of Luke, when he went away, and they introduced Mara Jade, who was an agent of the Sith, and then Luke Skywalker's scion, daughter, whatever, and then centered that on the next trilogy.
George Lucas hated Mara Jade and he passed that on to what's his name?
So
Dave Filoni.
George Lucas didn't like Mary Jade, and he was like, don't do any of that shit.
Documentary, you could see like cast members getting like people that work from getting yelled at for breaking up.
That was extended universe stuff?
Yeah, but they had a whole show that they did with the guy that did Battlestar Galactica, but it was too expensive to make. Because Lucas still owned it. I don't know if Disney got that in the deal, but they have the Underworld show where it is
Yeah.
like 20 episode shooting scripts ready. Straczynski or whatever it is.
J. Michael Straczynski was going to do a Star Wars Underworld show?
All the scripts are done, but it was too expensive.
So they had a writer's room, they broke a bunch of scripts, but then they were like, we can't fucking shoot this. What was the
Yeah.
premise of it?
It was Coruscant down below.
It was a crime show.
Some of the ideas they got for Boba Fett came, but Boba Fett was going to appear in the show. He's going to be like a regular.
Boba Fett was going to be a regular character.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky because Luke is hard, right? Like, either it's a CG Luke.
There's a movie I'd like to see.
Hey,
Luke is hard.
this was your father's.
Tagline, that's no moon.
It's an elegant weapon. Because they're never going to recast
Here,
him.
it's shaped like a cock. Your father left it for you. Figure that one out, Freud.
It fell off in a fight. Like the Solo experiment showed that it was somewhat. The audience was not ready for a new Han Solo.
For somebody to take the part.
Yeah, I don't think an audience is ready for somebody else to play Luke Skywalker.
I would say you're right, absolutely. But I do think the case of Solo, they shouldn't predicate everything on how Solo was received, because Solo was doubly expensive of what it needed to be, since they shot a whole movie, and then they're like, fuck it, and then they shot a whole different Solo movie. I don't remember. What was the critical reaction? Were people like, hey, this guy's good? Or were they like, he's no Harrison Ford?
I think it was more that, mostly because we just saw Harrison Ford play Han Solo. Like, that's right on the heels of Force Awakens.
I think they could get away with this. I've seen a lot of people online, I'm not saying like, you got to cast this guy, but everyone was like, Sebastian Stan looks like a fucking young Mark Hamill, or he did, because this was 10 years ago and shit, but they've been saying it for a fucking decade. And we know for a fact, like, as they do the deep fake shit with him, they already did it and stuff. There's a kid online who did a better version of Mark Hamill's face on Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian.
And then Lucasfilm hired that kid.
So I think...
Like,
I think I think you could do it, and I think in a world where Mark Hamill's like, I'm done. Like, I don't romanticize this shit anymore. It's something I did, and it's finished, and I'm moving on and shit. How could anyone be upset then if somebody was like, here's the new Luke Skywalker? Like, it's gonna happen. Let's be honest.
Donald Glover as Lando was amazing. You just need to get the right dude.
Donald Glover as Lando was amazing. He said you just got to get the right dude, and he's absolutely right. Why does it keep the stakes low?
Because you know they're going to be.
That's true. Your young Luke feature will never be. It won't have the audience going, I hope he doesn't die. Because we know eventually that Luke will hit an iceberg way down the road. That's true. They're like, I hope he doesn't lose his other hand.
I mean, it is tricky. I mean, and of course, we could talk about Star Wars all night, which it seems like we're queuing up to do.
Not all night. I got a plane to catch.
You got a plane to catch.
Boarding in 1 hour and 59 minutes.
Should we hop to some Q&A?
Yeah, let's do just yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any news? We do go through all the news.
It's not. I mean, it's Labor Day weekend, man.
Fair enough. It's kind of become a Q&A. Let's dive into the Q&A of it all. Kids, let's talk about the shit we want to talk about. I see a hand in the air. And do me a favor, for the folks at home, so I'm not like, this is what they fucking said. If you're going to ask a question, come up here. We'll hand you a mic so that you could, there's a mic behind me. So just come up here to the front of the stage. Then they can see on the camera, too. Who wants to ask a thing? Don't all get up at once. Microphone right there, man. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Tell them your name. Say hi. Tell them your name.
Mike.
Hi, Mike.
The camera's
Hey,
up
guys,
there.
Mike.
Everyone say hi to Mike.
It's unrelated, but have you watched Slow Horses? I heard about the series. And
The
I
Gary
just binged
Oldman
it.
thing. I
Oh my
keep
God,
meaning
Gary
to because
Oldman,
people
he's genius in it.
There are people. Scott Mosier asked me like a month ago, "Did you watch Slow Horses yet?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "I think you would fucking love it." But they've
Brilliant.
got like 96 fucking seasons of the show. I didn't know it was going
The
on
fifth
so long.
season, there are only 6 episodes a season. The 5th season is going to drop mid-September.
What is the premise?
He basically
Into the mic.
Basically, Slow Horses is MI5s where they put all fuck ups and they put all people who are not really responsible. And because of something that happened early in his career, he's in charge of it. He's got bad breath, BO. He farts. He's very flatulent in the whole series. But he's brilliant and he cares for the slow horses. And they keep getting involved in major shit. And he's basically bailing out the world and Britain and everything. And it's just because he's smarter than everybody. And it's just an amazing series. He's incredible in it.
Fucking A, good tip. Slow Horses.
Also,
All right.
there's the Heritage Auctions is having a Bullwinkle auction. I forgot the program. I was going to bring it to you. It's huge. It's coming up.
Everyone get out.
So I know.
When
you're
is it?
Bullwinkle.
When?
I forgot the program.
I'll look it up online. Heritage is doing it?
Heritage is doing it. It's big and it's all J North stuff, but it's mostly featuring Bullwinkle and Rocky.
Fucking A, man. It's very hard to find original cell animation for Rocky and Bullwinkle.
There's a lot of cells, original art, everything.
What they did back in the day was that show was the first cartoon that was animated outside of America for an American audience. So they went to Mexico because it was cheaper. So cell, paper or acetate, whatever the fuck, is clear. You paint on it and shit like that, and they snap a photo of that one image, and then there's another image looks just like it but a little different, and snap a bunch of those. You got a cartoon. As we know, there's a whole business where people buy old animation cells and they can go for like thousands of dollars and shit. The company that they worked with down in Mexico who animated Rocky and Bullwinkle, they were never told, and nobody, to be fair, in old animation they were never like, you got to save this is gold. It was just like, they didn't think it would be worth anything. These were for kids, but they didn't understand sentimentality and nostalgia would turn these things into little gold mines. So at Marvel, which is the name of the studio down in Mexico, they would paint on the cells to do the photography, shoot it, and then erase all the fucking artwork, original artwork and shit. Just wash it off and reuse the fucking cell. So it's so rare to find Rocky and Bullwinkle cells because they were just reused over and over again. I don't have any original from the show.
You'll definitely be interested in the Hawkage.
I'll be looking.
September 13th.
September 13th.
The Art of Moose and Squirrel and the J. Ward Studios. That's what it's called.
How the fuck am I finding this out from you people as opposed to like me telling you on the show? Fuck. Good to know. Thank you.
There was a Disney garbage man back in the day. As they were throwing out the cells, he just kept everything, and it ended up selling for like $25 million when he sold everything.
Isn't that
He auctioned
amazing?
it off years later.
It's like the Desi Arnaz story. Like he was the first person who thought maybe we should not erase all of the tapes of the sitcoms we show.
Other people would do that?
100%. It was until I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy created the rerun because they would shoot it on film and they say, hey, why don't you just rerun this? Why don't you show it again over the summer? And people tuned in. Before then, they would just tape over the tapes because tapes were expensive.
They did it live.
Yeah, they either did it live or they would do it on videotape and then just erase the videotape.
Yeah.
They also created a flashback.
They created the flashback in order to do to reuse the old episodes and shit.
Yeah, the clip show.
The clip show.
Pregnant and she was out on maternity. They went and they would do a flashback to when earlier time. So here's what, remember the time when Lucy.
So when Lucy was pregnant, the thesis is that I Love Lucy created the flashback for the episodes Lucy couldn't be there for because she was pregnant and stuff. So they'd be like, remember when Lucy did this? And then they would show an old scene from the show,
the clip
which
show.
created the clip show format, which was insanely popular for decades and does not exist as a trope now. Nobody does clip shows anymore. No, well, number one, nobody does sitcoms anymore. And when they do, a run of a sitcom is like 6 episodes. You can't flash back to something that happened fucking 4 episodes
Yeah,
ago.
I feel
Because
like-
people are binging them right there.
Yeah, Clerks the Animated.
Unless you're Clerks the Animated Series.
And aired first.
Yeah.
So,
Come on up, sir.
Yeah, or just bring, you can
crossover?
slide it on that side either way. But come
Or
on
just-
over and grab the mic here, Bob. This is Bob, everybody. Say hi, Bob.
Hi.
Hi, Bob.
So last week you mentioned how the money is not there in Hollywood right now and
Yeah.
people are looking for work and out of a job.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot tonight about how a lot of the major IP is also not earning. So what is it that you think can bring some new ideas into Hollywood and like do something interesting that gets people to buy again?
I think everybody has their own little economy now. And back in the day, Hollywood, TV, movies, they used to create mint stars and stuff. It's all happening in real time and has been for the last 20 years on YouTube. Like we're just watching the TV industry get rebuilt on YouTube and whatnot. And on YouTube, it separates the wheat from the chaff. Never mind the guesswork of old television and Nielsen going like, I think people like this show. You got fucking hard, real-time proof of how popular a thing is. If I'm the movie biz, I'm getting in touch with every one of these creators who has fucking 5 million, 10 million, 100 million fucking followers and being like, here's a bunch of money, do whatever you want.
Like the Mr. Beast show.
Very much. Now, is that culture? Is that going to save cinema? No, it gets asses in seats.
And it was reality, so
And it's also going to be probably cheaper. But if those people are back in seats, then you got people back in seats, and then it's my job to put trailers up to make them come to see something that isn't the Mr. Beast movie or something like that. But that's what I'd be doing. I'd be going after people with bona fide followings, built online, Instagram, fucking TikTok and whatnot, and being like, make a fucking movie. Like, these people are getting more views than most filmmakers get with their work. Now, that being said, I worked with a director for the Jeters. We did a Jeters spot like 2 months ago for Donut Day. And the director is a guy named Diamond, young kid, man. And did a great job directing the thing. And then one day he's like, can I pick your brain? He came over and we sat around talking. And he told me that like his life story, how he got started as a content, like all the kids call him content creators on YouTube. He was like, I was doing that like early on and shit. And he made these videos. My man has 5 billion views, which I was just like, what are you fucking doing in my house? I should be in your house asking you advice. And he goes, it doesn't mean anything. He's going 5 billion views online. That's great. It's bragging rights. And maybe you could turn that, you could monetize it and stuff. If you got a song in there that you don't own, you can't monetize it or something like that. He's going, but it doesn't get me a job. He's like, for as many people who have watched those shorts, not one of them has manifested into a fucking job. So it doesn't necessarily, my plan is not like, it's foolproof and it's not been tried. Could be that like they give a bunch of money to a fucking PewDiePie and he fucking doesn't do anything with it that makes anybody come to the movie theater. Maybe because people are like, why would I go to the movie theater to watch him? I can watch him on YouTube and shit.
And it's got to translate too, right? Because like the format is so different between the two.
But I'm just saying, give that content creator, not like do your show on big screen, but it's just like, what would a PewDiePie movie look like?
Right, but I mean the personality has to translate.
Or does it? But that's the thing. It's like if you're a fan of a thing, you're in for a penny, in for a pound. So PewDiePie in this fictional version doesn't even have to be in it. It's just like, go direct it, go write it, do whatever you want to be in it. Fucking great. But these people already have audiences. Like last night, we were just talking about before. We had the Gwar screening and shit. This place was full. We didn't have to do the work. Why? Gwar carries an army with it. Its own personal audience that's like, oh, I'll go to that if you guys are doing this thing on the East Coast. And the movie was fucking 4 years old. So it's not even like, oh, we've never seen this before. They've probably all seen it before, but they were happy to come. So you don't even have to necessarily see that creator like on the screen to support the creator, man. If you just knew that your favorite YouTube creator is being given $20 million by Warner Brothers to make whatever the fuck they wanted, you'd probably show up just to support. Because this generation of creators and fans are all about authenticity. These fans have grown up watching these people create. We were encountering famous people who were thrown at us from Hollywood as like, these fuckers are famous and some studio head picked them, so you better like them too. This is way more democratic, man. The world of YouTube, the world of online and shit like that. Only the strong survive and quality outs, and whether the quality is your version of quality or not, doesn't matter. It means the engagement that's there. So I feel like that's what I'd be doing. If I ran a studio, I'd give him fucking $20 million to see what kind of movie he comes up with and shit. And, again, I know a bunch of people out there are like, ugh, it's the death of cinema, yoga hosers. But I'm not saying, and that's the only movie we should make. But if I was in charge of a studio and my job was to earn money on movies, that's what I would do. I'd be hitting people with bona fide audiences, being like, let's see what you can do.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's that 100%.
Yeah,
and there's also the biggest movie of the year. I'm not sure what'll happen when Avatar comes out, but it's K-pop Demon Hunters. Like that. I mean, I know I was the same way until I watched it, and it's fucking great. But it is now the most watched movie on Netflix.
Did it surpass? Did it go to the top?
Yeah, it beat Red Notice.
I can't believe Red Notice was the most watched.
I mean, Netflix, whatever. But like, it is a phenomenon. It's a legitimate phenomenon. It is the number one soundtrack. It's got 3 songs in the top 100 Billboard hits. Like, it is a monster.
This fucker is free on Netflix. If you have Netflix, I mean, it's not free, you pay for it. So you can just watch it anytime you want. They released it in movie theaters last weekend.
Yeah, for 2 days.
For just 2 fucking days, made $20 million. You could watch this for free at home, but they put one up with like Follow the Bouncing Ball so you could fucking sing along. And everybody went. It beat Weapons. It beat everything. It was the number one movie.
For 2 days.
And then they took it out of theaters. They could have left it up there and milked it. They're like,
they could have. Like, so that is not based on anything. That is literally just an original idea that somebody had.
It wasn't where?
It wasn't AMC.
It wasn't even AMC. AMC wouldn't make the deal with them.
Serious?
Yeah, because AMC won't put Netflix movies in theaters because they're like,
because they're like, that's us cutting our own throat.
Yeah, it was like Fathom, and it was Regal, and it was like whatever. And my favorite TV show of the year that's not Andor is The Pit, which, again, not based on anything. It's just we're making a hospital show as well as one can possibly make a hospital show.
You digging The Pit?
ER,
I love The Pit. It should have been ER.2. Like, it was going to be.
But that's what it was going to be,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Are they still getting sued?
No, because like it's
John Wells at one point was like,
It's
hey,
John
man,
Carter. Like they got fucking Noah Wiley to play
It's
an
who?
ER surgeon.
No, it was John Wells.
It was Michael Crichton's widow.
Michael Crichton's widow was the one that was like, hey man, you can't do this is ER.
Yeah.
They didn't make a deal. So
They didn't make a deal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not in Chicago, it's in Pittsburgh. But again, it's not based on anything now. It's an original idea, executed to within an inch of its life. Adolescence on Netflix, an original idea that is just harrowing to watch and fantastic to see. It's both roll the dice on original people and roll the dice on original ideas again. Like, everything doesn't have to be based on a book or a sequel or a reboot or a preboot or whatever. Just somebody has a pitch, say yes. And like, are all of them going to hit? All of nothing is going to hit. But when it's an original thing, it has the potential to be a phenomenon.
Well, and I think the phenomenon's a big part of it too, because
Into
like
the mic.
I think the phenomenon aspect of it is a big part of it too, because I think what people are missing about going to the movies is the community around it. Like,
Yes and no, because I see a lot of people, a lot of TikToks of people going, fuck going to the movies, man. I went to the movies and these kids were talking the whole fucking time and they chicken jockeyed me. Like, fuck this. So there are some people who are like, why would I do that? Why would I pay $40 and overpay for popcorn and shit when I can have this experience in my home without fucking other people? So there are some people that don't go for the congregation. I like the congregation. I like being around other people when we're watching it.
But yeah, like the experience you want is the Matrix, right? They're like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but I'm here for it. And you can't be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. We all saw it for ourselves. Give me more like weapons. I don't know what the fuck this is.
Don't spoil it. I haven't seen it.
I mean, I haven't seen it either because I'm a pussy. But still, like, it continues to win almost every weekend because nobody knew what it was, but they knew it felt cool.
Tying into our Disney talk before, Disney announced with all that, we're losing young men, that they're going hard after original IP now. Not like, original IP meaning, fucking, we're going to do the Three Caballeros with Donald Duck. They're like, not fuck Disney, because that's their bread and butter, but they're like, we're up for hearing original things. And I will say this, and this is very fucking heartening. 6 spec scripts sold last month in the business.
Really?
Yeah, and that hadn't happened in a long fucking time. Spec scripts are when some screenwriter without a deal writes a fucking script and their agent puts out in the marketplace, and if it gets a lot of interest from multiple sources, studios, feeding frenzy, bidding war begins. That's how you get like Scott Mosier, my beloved friend and whatnot, producer of Clerks and so forth. Scott wrote a movie called Maud versus Maud. Put it out there with his agent and shit. It wound up in a bidding war, and Warner Brothers bought it for a fuck ton of money. That more than he would have ever gotten paid if he had just written the movie for somebody. So it used to happen a lot. It was a big feature of the 90s, 80s and 90s, particularly the 90s. But in the last 5 years, with the business being the way it is, you rarely ever heard about spec script sales. They had 6 in August alone.
Yeah, because
also,
people are hungry.
People are hungry. Also, that's the other thing is I got a dude reached out to me who me and my friend had pitched something to like 2 years ago, and he reached out recently to be like, I'm in a new place. Do you want to come in and pitch that again? And I was like, oh, you guys are doing stuff? He's like, in a big bad way. It's the new mandate. So after the 2 strikes, after COVID, things were fucked up. But after the 2 strikes, the business has been reeling. I'm not saying it's fixed, but it now shows signs of healing. I went in, I'm not at liberty to say a lot of things, but I went in and pitched a show based on IP. That's not mine. And it got picked up. And that was like fucking kind of shocking to me just by virtue of the fact that the business has been so like, well, we got to wait and see. But now action is starting to happen again. K-pop Demon Hunters helped my cause.
I mean,
in a big bad way. Because when it happened, I first thing I asked, I was like, this is because of K-pop Demon Hunters, right? They're like, yeah. And I was like, I don't give a shit what created it. Now, that being said, that's not me going, what an original idea I'm going to show you. If this thing goes forward, you'll recognize it. You've seen it in one shape or form or another before. It'll be a new thing, but it's pre-existed. But they're looking for ideas now. For about 2 years, it seemed like nobody wanted to fucking make anything. And now, not only are they willing to make things, but they're talking at least a good game about wanting to make things that don't normally get made. And that's exciting.
that's awesome. That's what I was hoping to hear.
Good,
So
good sign, like minor blip, but a good sign. Things moving in the right direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where else we want to go? Come on over and grab that mic, man. What's your name, Captain?
Jake.
Jake's
Hey,
going to
Jake.
go next. Give it up for Jake, everybody.
So back when the CW DC shows were going on and you helped with some of that, I remember an episode of The Flash where you cameoed in as Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
So
I was directed that episode. They're like, we got these 2 parts. Do you think your friend would want to be in it? I said, oh my God, he lives for this shit. These are his soap operas, so he'll definitely come. And they were like, well, since he's coming, do you want to be the other guy? And I was like, how much? And they gave me an extra salary as an actor, so I was like, all right. And so
Pay
we
this
got to
man
play.
his money.
Yeah.
So now with the James Gunn DC stuff, is there a character or a story that you would like to help make and then cameo in it.
If I don't need to help making shit, he's putting together a pretty strong roster that includes filmmakers that make movies that make money and shit. So I don't think I'm going to be part of that. But I will always tub thumb for DC to make The Question. I think that's a fantastic character. Faceless, no eyes, no nose holes, no mouth, no ear holes, just fucking a blank face and shit. Criminal film noir. Like I hope they do that. I understand like Lanterns and fucking Wonder Woman and Batman, Superman, of course, do those. But in a world where they're digging deeper into the toy box to be like, what else is down there? Like it excited me to hear that What's His Fuck was working on a Swamp Thing movie. But The Question. Like to me, I'm like, it's not an original DC character. It came from Charlton Comics, but DC bought all the Charlton characters as the character that Rorschach was based on. Originally, when Alan Moore wrote what became The Watchmen, it was using all the Charlton characters that DC had just bought, like old comic book label, and they bought all these characters. And Alan Moore wrote this fucking apocalyptic tale, and the DC people were like, we just bought these fucking toys. You're going to break them? No. And so he just changed the names, created his own characters, his own universe, same fucking story. So Rorschach came from him not being able to use The Question. And that's why Rorschach is so like Ayn Randian, because Steve Ditko, who created The Question, was massively Ayn Rand. He's a big believer in Ayn Rand, loved their books and shit like that. And the ethos of those characters worked its way into The Question. So its history is rich. Visually, it's interesting as fuck. So it allows you to do like a costume vigilante thing. But to just also do true crime, which seems to be like, like not every, criminal is like fucking, I'm going to poison Gotham's water supply. You could do just fucking murder stories with this guy, like him as a gumshoe kind of thing. So I push for The Question. And who would I be in it? I mean, there's a character, his buddy, Aristotle Tot Rodor, who's his like fucking man in the chair, but he should be way older than me and stuff. And you could get a cool older actor to play that part. Who would I be? Honestly,
the Spectre in that scene where he comes to meet Question sitting in a hospital.
Oh, if you offer me to roll the Spectre, I would totally play that. Spectre is the fucking spirit in the DCU who wears a green hood and cape and green spandex underwear and shit, and the rest of his body is just white. So it would be me wearing the least amount of clothes I've ever worn in a movie. But to be the Spectre, that would be fucking. That'd be memorable.
I mean, I'm sure it's also. Listen, I hear you on the tights. What if they were jorts?
Yes. My version of the Spectre.
They
Like,
be-
we don't want that.
They can be tight jorts, but what if they're still jorts?
They're like, if we wanted a jorts wearing Spectre, we'd get John Cena.
I've had the thought that the same way that Pixar movies start with a short before you see the actual thing.
Yes.
There are hundreds of characters. They should like do the same idea with every project that
You
comes
look
out.
right in that camera and tell James Gunn, who watches every week. No. But that's a good fucking idea, man. Like, we all went to see Superman this summer. Wasn't there just a little short subject beforehand? And like, Warner Brothers is familiar with how to animate a thing or two, even though they keep throwing all their classic animation out at the moment. So you're absolutely right.
Or even a
make
live
short?
action short.
Or a live action
Which
short.
is even cheaper than animation. You
Which
can do
is
it
what
faster.
Marvel was doing on DVD when they would do their little like spin-off kind of mini sequels where they'd let like some writers like, here, take it, go off and shoot a movie and stuff.
Some of the movies were showing the original Fleischer cartoons before the movie.
In some theaters, they were showing the original Fleischer cartoons, but that was probably the theater choice, right? Not like Warner Brothers doing it. Because I don't even think Warner Brothers, do they own the Fleischer?
No.
Do they own it?
Do they?
They put them out on DVD like
They have put them out. Just like how they didn't own, Adam West Batman forever. Now they do.
Yeah. I mean, Fleischer, though, might be approaching public domain. I mean, anybody could press it, but Warner Brothers did.
I think we had this discussion, but can we have it real quick, man? Dick Tracy, did we have this discussion?
Yeah.
So Warren Beatty, of course, had the rights for Dick Tracy forever, and he made that Dick Tracy movie and shit. Then, when you have the rights for something, generally you have them for 20 years, 10 years, there's a time period. And if you don't use that character in the time period, the rights revert back to the rights holder, the people who created it or their estate or whatever the fuck. So you guess King Features or United Features Syndicate owned Dick Tracy. It was a comic strip in the newspaper. And Warren Beatty, I think actually Disney licensed it, but then Warren took it over because he wanted to write and direct and beat Dick Tracy. And he made that movie in the 90s, which some of you may have seen, maybe you didn't. Shit. It was expected to be Batman that year. Batman was the summer of 89. Summer of 90, they were like, belongs to Dick. And it didn't. So it happened. Dick Tracy's beautiful movie and whatnot. It wasn't like a disaster. It wasn't like an Ishtar or something like that. But they were never going to do another one. So you would imagine the rights would go back to whoever owned the character. But every time that it came time for Warren Beatty to give up the rights to Dick Tracy, he didn't want to do it. I don't know if he was just like, I still may want to do a sequel or something like that. So about 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe more, 12, there was a one-time half-hour special that aired on TNT or TBS at TCN, thank you, at 2, 3 in the morning.
Yep.
And it was Warren Beatty wearing the Dick Tracy costume from the movie, but markedly older than the last time we saw him in the costume, being interviewed by Leonard Maltin about his career. Ran for a half an hour, very bizarre. You can see it on YouTube. He did that so he could hold on to the rights. Just how years ago, fucking the people made the $1 million fucking Fantastic Four movie.
Roger Corman,
just to hold on to the rights for it and shit. Warren Beatty did this 1 hour special, and when you watch it, you're just like, oh my God, like why would anyone do this? And he looks so old. He looks like Dick Tracy's grandpa. And you're like, I hope he never does this again. He did it again, man. Another 10 years later, he did it, and this time it's like an older Leonard Maltin with Ben Mankiewicz interviewing a way older Warren Beatty as Dick Tracy.
Tracy zooms in.
Tracy zooms in.
They're in studio. He's on. Dick Tracy is zooming in, and they also interview Warren Beatty.
Out of the yellow coat.
Himself, and Dick Tracy is like the real character.
That's insane.
Also, he could hold on to the right.
At the end with each other, the two of them. It's
in the same booth.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And again, it's not like this aired on Fox at 8 o'clock on a Friday. Like it doesn't. I'm not saying I can't. I don't know the man's mind, but it's not like he's proud of it. Like he's because he's putting it on at 2 in the morning and shit. But he's doing it to hold on to the rights. And I only bring that up because the rights to Dick Tracy are about to go public domain at any minute because the character, what year? 27. The character will be 100 years old and shit. So nobody gonna own Dick Tracy. We are all gonna own Dick Tracy soon.
We're all gonna be doing a Dick Tracy at 2 o'clock in the morning on
We
TCN.
all need to do a Dick Tracy zoom in, man. All of us sitting there.
Did he even have the conceit of it was on his two-way watch that he's zooming in from?
That
No?
would have showed somebody cared.
Leonard Maltin looks like he's in a hostage video.
Leonard Maltin's like, can't believe I said yes to this. I liked Reds. Anyway, did he answer your question?
Did I can cameo in? Nobody wants me to cameo anything. I would like to do Static. I think a Virgil Hawkins show would be kind of great.
Which one?
Static.
Yeah. He just said something about that recently, James Gunn. He was
Yeah.
explaining in some posts why it's hard to bring in.
Yeah, because it's a milestone character who's kind of owned by DC, but not really, and it's complicated, but
not impossible.
Not impossible. Nothing's impossible if you're James Gunn.
Yeah, true.
Big Jim Gunn can do whatever he wants.
Big Jim Gunn. Big Jim Gunn. He liked himself Superman, Peacemaker 2, Big Jim Gunn.
Thank
We
you, sir.
good?
We good?
Well done. We'll take one more question, then kids, I got to run to the airport and shit. I board in 1 hour and 28 minutes, and I have a bag to put under. What's your name?
Kevin, I worked with you. Oh, Phil.
Give it up for Phil, everybody. Phil
Word up,
was
y'all.
my assistant editor on 430 Movie, man.
Hey, so actually, I have a crazy question. I was thinking about Star Wars in relation to Star Trek, and like bringing Star Wars universe like 1,000 years in the future. However, now that you're actually talking about it, what do you think about like how do you imagine like domestic crews coming back or like domestic features being shot in like America? Because there's a lot of stuff happening in like Eastern Europe.
I mean, it's easy for me to imagine. I've never shot a movie outside of America and stuff. But
Other than like tax incentives too.
Well, and that's the thing. Like recently, I watched a piece about Atlanta, which is suffering from the lack of Marvel, and they're putting on a brave face, being like, "Oh, we got other movies," but like Marvel leaving Atlanta fucking hurt, man, because Marvel helped build the Atlanta film industry, and now they took off because there's a tax incentive overseas that's a little fucking bit deeper and whatnot, and that's why they're shooting Spider-Man in Glasgow of all places. So. Taking that out of the conceit, you mean? Not talking about that?
Yeah, or at least like, how do you imagine domestic films being brought, or domestic production happening back in America?
It's going to be tough, man, as long as like those deep discounts are over there. Like I was talking to somebody about making moose jaws, and they were like, "How do you feel about Bulgaria?" And I was like, I have no opinion. I've never thought about Bulgaria once in my life. I'm like, why? And they're like, because we can go over there and we can shoot the movie for like a third of what it's going to cost here. You're never going to stop that bleeding as long as it's cheaper over there. How to bring it all back here? Put all the prices in the toilet. Make people work for something they don't want to work for. And that's the thing. They'll never get the talent to drop their fucking fee. So they're going to have to ask all the below the line people to be like, wow, we can't pay you this and shit.
I don't know. I was watching because I was also thinking about like the 1970s. Because I was watching a bunch of Mon Hellman movies, like Shooting, Cockfighter. And I feel like they're, if you guys know Cockfighter?
Not at all. I mean, not in that context. Me and Mark, we've done some cockfighting, but
we're master swordsmen.
Yeah,
but
it's not really fighting. Mark always wins. It's more cock sparring.
But do you imagine, like, do you think film industry is coming back to like what it was like in the 70s and I guess also in the 90s?
What is
too?
that though? What do you
like?
You got
as you were saying, like original IP, and like
which to be
original
fair.
IP.
Original IP has existed even since the 70s. They make original movies all the time, but you're talking about studios making original movies? Or
Totally.
When's that going to happen?
Or do you think that's like on the horizon?
Well, I mean, one of the chief things is the movies that they made in the 70s, by and large, cost about the same. Like Bob, Mary, Ted, and Alice cost about as much as Panic in Needle Park, cost about as much as Justice for All, cost about as much as Kramer versus Kramer. Like, all of these movies were like white people in New York, right? Like, there's no special effects, there's no spaceships, there's almost no car chases, but even French Connection. Like, you could do that shit in Queens. You're only spending $18 million on a movie. The minute you have to spend $200 million on a movie, you start looking for where you can get the most for that money.
Of course.
And so I think that, and even in the 70s, there's a lot of movies based on plays and based on other movies and based on novels, so it's not quite original, but like movies for adults, like the mid-budget feature, which they used to make up until the 90s, like The Last Seduction, and whatever, The Fugitive, even that shit, like, it's hard to make those movies now.
But physical media could be coming back too.
It could be, but never to the degree that it was in the 90s. Like, where there were stores devoted to selling you and renting you shit that had to have their own income and their own inventory. And then when they moved to DVD, they made everything super cheap and everybody wanted to buy. We were a collector culture then. Now we're an access culture. I don't need to own it. I just need to be able to watch it. And so nobody has the incentive to buy it anymore. And like, the economy of it has changed so drastically that there's 100% a desire to come back to the States. And some people can, like Quentin will shoot whenever he's making another movie. California will give him the tax break and he can transform Los Angeles into 1973 again, which seems to be his kink.
Yeah.
In addition to the other kinks.
It's happening right now.
It's
he's not doing it, but they're doing it for his characters.
But
Fincher.
like Fincher is taking advantage of the fact that Quentin will always get the tax credit, the lottery, because they want to give it to Quentin. Like, it happens selectively, but en masse, it's just hard, man, because a $200 million movie, you get $290 million worth of movie if you shoot in Bulgaria or Glasgow or even London or Prague or, fucking if you shot a movie in India, they'll almost give you all your money back. And they've got crews who know how to do it. Like, that's...
oddly enough, man, it's like here in the States, there's just two extremes, right? There's either like you have an access to enough money to demand, I want to stay here and shoot in the States. Or you have no fucking choice because you have no money, so you're like, I guess I'm shooting here in the States. So it feels like the indie filmmaker is what's going to keep American filmmaking going, as these larger productions go overseas and chase a discount. no indie filmmakers chasing a discount. They don't have a budget that high. And so it becomes an indie filmmaker's playground here. So I guess the answer to the question is, when are you going to start making all these fucking American movies, man? It's up to you, for heaven's sakes.
Or it requires Steven Spielberg to say, we're shooting West Side Story in the west side of New York.
He did it in Jersey.
Did he?
Yeah.
He went to Jersey
Which is west of New York, so it counts.
Yeah, totally.
Well, there is West.
He did.
New
He
York.
did it out here, but he must have done some parts in New York. But I know he shot in Jersey, right? Patterson. The whole thing was in Patterson.
No, some of it.
Yeah.
New Jersey offered him a big tax incentive.
Netflix is going ahead in 4 months.
That's the other thing is we got Netflix building fucking sound stages like right down the street.
Right. And it's also New York doesn't look like New York anymore. It looks like Disney's version of New York. So you want like 70s New York, you got to come to Jersey.
Or you go to Yonkers.
That's true. Jersey, we're in more New York than Manhattan.
So yeah, it's tricky, but it's all about money. It's all about money and who can demand a studio spend that money to shoot here. And what's the advantage of shooting here that you don't have if you're shooting in Bulgaria?
Last thing. I was watching Peacemaker season 2, and I mean that shot in Georgia, and I do imagine like.
Did they?
Yeah.
Because the first season I thought they shot in Vancouver because the whole thing takes place in like Washington. And I saw the first season, there's a lot of Vancouver, places I recognize. Where I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. But did they do the new season in Georgia?
I think they did that. So
Yeah. Canadians are like, I ain't doing that. They're like, fuck it, we'll go to the States.
So I don't know. I think there's like there's like locations that you can't get anywhere else specifically.
Of course. However, you can now fucking recreate those locations.
You can
kind of
cheat, but
not cheat. Just literally be like, need the Empire State Building in the background and ChatGPT that shit into your fucking.
Oh no,
movie.
I'm talking about like things like in like rural Georgia or like rural locations that you can't do in like I don't know in like Eastern Europe.
Oh yeah, of course.
When I worked on a show called Treadstone way back in the day, and it was supposed to be set in the United States of America. And we ended up shooting it in Prague, and the hardest thing in the world to find was a motel. They literally don't have highway culture over there, so they don't have motels. Like motor hotels is what motel stands for. And that's classic, like 2-story fucking Red Roof Inn motel doesn't exist. I'm like, well, it's not a motel anymore. It's a chalet. It's a Airbnb. It's a castle. Let's do castles. I got nothing but fucking castles. So yeah, it's tough. But, I mean, they shot, The Floor, the Rob Lowe game show in Dublin. It was cheaper to send 100 Americans in a crew and rent stages for a fucking game show to Dublin than it was to shoot that in Los Angeles, which is what used to fucking happen all the time. LA was like TV city.
I think Hell's Kitchen's going to like Australia now.
I mean, MasterChef is in Australia. It's like, guys, wow, what? How is it cheaper? But it is. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. So get your shit together, America.
I did. I built a quick stop in Louisiana because we couldn't shoot in Jersey. Give it up for Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
Do we have anything else before we head off into that good night? Or I head off into that sky. I'm feeling weird now because I keep talking about like, I'm going to catch a plane. It reminds me of the end of the Buddy Holly story. At the end of the movie, he's like, I got to catch a plane. Good night. Credits. And that haunted me forever, man.
Let's go planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not going to die in a plane crash as much as sit next to somebody irritating who will take me on an adventure.
Yeah. How about Flash Gordon, where you end up on fucking Mongo?
I like your fucking version better and shit.
You become a space prince.
Oh my God, fucking A, man. Kids, have you had a good time this evening? We can't thank you enough for being here, man. There'd be no show without you, literally. Fucking there almost wasn't. And the person who saved that show for you is the man to my left. Give it up for Marvelous Marc Bernardin. Kids, if you're watching at home, don't forget October 18th, man. Come see Mallrats, the 30th anniversary of it right here in Smodcastle Cinemas. Me, Jason Lee, Jason Mewes doing a stop-start screening where we tell you everything about the movie in between each scene. Tickets are on sale right now at csmod.com. Don't forget on Netflix, what was it? The Titans
that built an industry? Was that
Something
it?
like that.
Close to that?
Learn your ass about Carl Laemmle.
Titans the rise of Hollywood.
tightens the rise of Hollywood.
Yeah. And if you're in Los Angeles, 9/9, come see us at fucking Scum and Villainy.
Excellent point, kids. When
9/9.
when we go back to Los Angeles, man, it's the German double no day for us. 9/9. We'll be doing Fat Man Beyond at the Scum and Villainy Cantina, our home, of course, in Hollywood, sister to Smodcastle Cinemas. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I think that about fucking covers it, man. Keep engaging deeply with the culture that pops, ladies and gentlemen. It's a scary world out there, and within pop culture, it's not nearly as fucking scary. It's awfully safe, especially if you're a fucking K-pop demon hunter.
Oh, yeah. Stay golden.
There would be
Boy.
no show without the God of my life. Give it up for Marvelous Marc Bernardin. And that is Fat Man Beyond for this week, man. Tune in next week for more. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next week, same fat time, same fat channel, smodcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Jeff's Kiss. Good night. Wow. This is the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers, if you